Testament of King Solomon, Part 4. But I, Solomon, glorified Yahweh Elohim, and bade another demon come before me. And there was brought to me a demon having all the limbs of a man, but without a head. And I, seeing him, said to him, Tell me, who art thou? And he answered, I am a demon. So I said to him, Which? And he answered me, I am called Envy, for I delight to devour heads, being desirous to secure for myself a head. But I do not eat enough, but am anxious to have such a head as thou hast. I, Solomon, on hearing this, sealed him, stretching out my hand against his chest, whereon the demon leapt up and threw himself down and gave a groan, saying, Woe is me! Where am I come to? Traitor Onias, I cannot see. So I said to him, I am Solomon. Tell me then, how dost thou manage to see? And he answered me, By means of my feelings. I then, Solomon, having heard his voice come up to me, asked him how he managed to speak. And he answered me, King Solomon, am holy voice, for I have inherited the voices of many men. For in the case of all men who are called dumb, I it is who smashed their heads when they were children and had reached their 8th day. Then when a child is crying in the night, I become a spirit and glide by means of his voice in the crossways. Also I have many services to render, and my encounter is fraught with harm. For I grasp in all instant a man's head, and with my hands, as with a sword, I cut it off and put it on to myself. And in this way, by means of the fire which is in me, through my neck it is swallowed up. I it is that sends grave mutilations and incurables on men's feet, and inflicts sores. This seems the sense of Nodias, unless understood, to the demons of the wayside or crossroads. Hecate was such a goddess, and we have mention of a daimon, Enodia. The Latin trivia as a subset, blisters caused by walking. And I, Solomon, on hearing this, said to him, Tell me, how dost thou discharge forth the fire? Out of what sources dost thou emit it? And the Spirit said to me, From the day star, for here hath not yet been found that El Burian, to whom men offer prayers and kindle lights, and his name is invoked by the 7 demons before me, and he cherishes them. But I said to him, Tell me his name. But he answered, I cannot tell thee, for if I tell his name, I render myself incurable. But he will come in response to his name. And on hearing this, I, Solomon, said to him, Tell me then, by what angel thou art frustrated? And he answered, By the fiery flash of lightning. And I bowed myself before Yahweh Elohim, the Elohim of Israel, and bade him remain in the keeping of Beelzebul until should come. Then I ordered another demon to come before me, and there came into my presence a hound, having a very large shape. And it spoke with a loud voice and said, Hail, King Solomon. And I, Solomon, was astounded. I said to it, Who art thou, hound? And it answered, I do indeed seem to thee to be a hound. But before thou was, O King Solomon, I was a man that wrought many unholy deeds on earth. I was surpassingly learned in letters, and was so mighty that I could hold the stars of the firmament back, and many divine works did I prepare. For I do harm to men who follow after our star, and turn them to, and I seize the frenzied men by the larynx, and so destroy them. And I, Solomon, said to him, What is thy name? And he answered, Staff. And I said to him, What is thine employment? And what results canst thou achieve? And he replied, Give me thy man, and I will lead him away into a mountainous spot, and will show him a green stone tossed to and fro, with which thou mayest adorn the temple of Yahweh Elohim. And I, Solomon, on hearing this, ordered my servant to set off with him, and to take the finger ring bearing the seal of Yahweh Elohim with him. And I said to him, Whoever shall show thee the green stone, seal him with this finger ring, and mark the spot with care, and bring me the demon hither. And the demon showed him the green stone, and he sealed it, and brought the demon to me. And I, Solomon, decided to confine with my seal on my right hand the two, the headless demon, likewise the hung, that was so huge. He should be bound as well. And I bade the hung keep safe the fiery spirit, so that lamps, as it were, might by day and night cast their light through its maw on the artisan at work. And I, Solomon, took from the mine of that stone 200 shekels for the support of the table of incense, and was similar in appearance. And I, Solomon, glorified Yahweh Elohim, and then closed round the treasure of that stone. And I ordered afresh the demons to cut marble for the construction of the house of Yahweh Elohim. And I, Solomon, prayed to Yahweh Elohim, and asked the hung, saying, By what angel art thou frustrated? And the demon replied, By the great Brias. Brias is suggested by Bomian as a right reading, but with little probability, since Brias would have not been turned into an angel. And I praise Yahweh Elohim, creator of the firmament and earth, and bade another demon come forward to me, and there came before me one in the form of a lion roaring. And he stood and answered me, saying, King, in the form which I have, I am a spirit quite incapable of being perceived. Upon all men who lie prostrate with sickness I leap, coming stealthily along, and I render the man weak, so that his habit of body is enfeebled. But I have also another glory, King. I cast out demons, and I have legions under my control, and I am capable of being received in my dwelling places, along with all the demons belonging to the legions under me. But Solomon, on hearing this, asked him, What is thy name? But he answered, Lion bearer. In kind, and I said to him, How art thou to be frustrated along with thy legions? What angel is it that frustrates thee? And he answered, If I tell thee my name, I bind not myself alone, but also the legions of demons under me. So I said to him, I adjure you, I command thee in the name of Yahweh Sabaoth, to tell me by what name thou art frustrated along with thy hosts. And the Spirit answered me, The great among men, who is to suffer many things at the hands of men, whose name is the figure 644, which is Yeshua or Emmanuel. He it is who has bound us, and who will then come and plunge us from the steep underwater. He is noised abroad in the 3 letters which bring him down. And I, Solomon, on hearing this, glorified Yahweh Elohim, and condemned his legion to carry wood from the thicket. And I condemned the lion-shaped one himself to saw up the wood small with his teeth for burning in the unquenchable furnace for the temple of Yahweh Elohim. And I worshiped Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and bade another demon come forward. And there came before me a dragon, three-headed, of fearful hue. And I questioned him, Who art thou? And he answered me, I am a caltrop-like spirit, whose activity in three lines. But I blind children in women's womb, and twirl their ears around, and I make them deaf and mute. And I have again in my third head means of slipping in, and I smite men in the limbless part of the body, and cause them to fall down, and foam and grind their teeth. But I have my own way of being frustrated, Jerusalem being signified in writing unto the place called of the head, for there is foreappointed the angel of the great council, and now he will openly dwell on the cross. He doth frustrate me, and to him am I subject. Yeshua HaMashiach. But in the place where thou sittest, O King Solomon, standeth a column in the air of purple. The demon called Ephipas had brought it up from the Red Sea, from inner Arabia. He it is that shall be shut up in a skin bottle and brought before thee. But at the entrance of the temple which thou hast begun to build, King Solomon, lies stored much gold, which dig thou up and carry off. And I, Solomon, sent my servant, and found it to be as the demon told me, and I sealed him with my ring and praised Yahweh Elohim. So I said to him, What art thou called? And the demon said, I am the crest of dragons. And I bade him make bricks in the temple. He had human hands. And I adored Yahweh Elohim of Israel, and bade another demon present himself. And there came before me a spirit in woman's form that had a head without any limbs, and her hair was disheveled. And I said to her, Who art thou? But she answered, Nay, who art thou? And why dost thou want to hear concerning me? But as thou wouldst learn, here I stand bound before thy face. Then into thy royal storehouses, and wash thy hands. Then sit down afresh before thy tribunal, and ask me questions, and thou shalt learn, King, who I am. And I, Solomon, did as she enjoined me, and restrained myself because of the wisdom dwelling in me, in order that I might hear of her deeds, and reprehend them, and manifest them to men. And I sat down and said to the demon, Who art thou? And she said, I am called among men Obezus, and by night I sleep not, but go my rounds over all the world, and visit women in childbirth, and divining the hour I take my stand, and if I am lucky, I strangle the child, but if not, I retire to another place. For I cannot for a single night retire unsuccessful, for I am a fair spirit of myriads, names, and many shapes. And now hither, now thither I roam, and to western parts I go my rounds. But as it now is, though thou hast sealed me wrong with the ring of Yahweh Elohim, thou hast done nothing. I am not standing before thee, and thou wilt not be able to command me, for I have no work other than the destruction of children, and the making their ears to be deaf, and the working of evil to their eyes, and the blinding their mouth with a bond, and the ruin of their mind, and paining of their bodies. When I, Solomon, heard this, I marveled at her appearance, for I beheld all her body to be in darkness, but her glance was altogether bright and greenery, and her hair was tossed wildly like a dragon, and the whole of her limbs were invisible, and her voice was very clear as it came to me. And I cunningly said, Tell me by what angel thou art frustrated, evil spirit. She answered me, By the angel of Yahweh Elohim, called Apharat, which is interpreted Raphael, by whom I am frustrated now and for all time. His name, if any man know it, and write the same on a woman in childbirth, then I shall not be able to enter her. Of this name, the number is 640. And I, King Solomon, having heard this, and having glorified Yahweh Elohim, ordered her hair to be bound, and that she should be hung up in front of the temple of Yahweh Elohim, that all the children of Israel, as they pass, might see it and glorify Yahweh Elohim, Elohim of Israel, who had given me this authority with wisdom and power from Yahweh Elohim by means of this signet. And I again ordered another demon to come before me, and they came rolling itself along, one in appearance like to a dragon, but having the face and hands of a man, and all its limbs, except the feet, were those of a dragon, and it had wings on its back. And when I beheld it, I was astonished, and said, Who art thou, demon, and what art thou called, and whence hast thou come? Tell me. And the spirit answered and said, This is the first time I have stood before thee, King Solomon. I am a spirit made into a god among men, but now brought to nothing by the ring and wisdom vouchsafed to thee by Yahweh Elohim. Now I am the so-called winged dragon, and I chamber not with many women, but only with a few that are of fair shape, which possess the name of Zoli, of this star, and I appear with them in the guise of a spirit, winged in form. Coitum habens bonit, and she on whom I have leapt goes heavy with child, and the which is born of her becomes Eros. But since such offspring cannot be carried by men, the woman in question breaks wind. Such is my rule. Suppose then only that I am satisfied, and all the other demons molested and disturbed by thee will speak the whole truth. But those composed of fire will cause to be burned up by fire the material of the logs, which is to be collected by them for the building in the temple. And as the demon said this, I saw the spirit going forth from his mouth, and it consumed the wood of the frankincense tree, and burned up all the logs which we had placed in the temple of Yahweh Elohim. And I, Solomon, saw what the spirit had done, and I marveled. Here ended the reading of part 5 of Testament of King Solomon.